Hey everybody, it's Denny with Why Is This True? And it's Sunday, May 6th. Out on the West Coast, it's noon, and it's sunny but a little on the cool side for this time of the year out here. Um, so I don't have a lot of notes, but I think we're going to probably be able to take up the whole half hour or so. And then a half hour after that, the webinar with Get Wisdom starts with Carl, myself, and Brian, the three partners with GetWisdom.com. So it's been kind of a whirlwind trying to get that going. I'm not sure we were ready to have our official rollout, but we're there. We're putting out fires and trying to get people to access to all the right places. And the right Lightworker Healing Protocol is the online version is being sold, and the PDF version of the manual is going out. Quite a few overseas orders. I'll get to that soon. Let me get my notes, and I'm gonna have a drink of water. So thanks for joining me. Okay. So I guess to start, I wanted to say that I'm kind of going back to some of the study that I've been doing off and on for the last year on mind control and programming and the types of things that these mercenary army program abductees were subjected to. So they would get abducted many times when they were a child, and then put through these monarch programs, MK Ultra mind programming um, systems that they would be subjected to, and a lot of people avoid the subject because it's pretty ugly, it's pretty dark, but it's turning out it's very widespread. It's kind of endemic in the human condition and the institutions. Um, so my two primary sources, getting back into this now, is the books by Fritz Springmeier and Cisco Wheeler. So the main one that I've been promoting or talking about is this one here. I think this came out in the early '90s. And then there's another one that came out more recently, which I just got, and that's this one here. This is called Deeper Insights into the Illuminati Formula. So that's what I'm doing now. Going back to going back to this first book, and then this will be my first time through this one here. So that's I've already posted the notes for this live stream. So if you go to Why Is This True and go to the members page, if you can't see the members page, just register. You just put your email in. It's free, and you can go there. And there's links for these two books. So the authors are Fritz Springmeier and Cisco Wheeler, and the first book is The Illuminati Formula Used to Create an Undetectable Total Mind-Controlled Slave. And then the next book, the newer book, is Deeper Insight into the Illuminati Formula. So the links are in there, so you can check those out if it's something that interests you. Not for everybody. There's actually a warning in the beginning of both books, is that for people who've been through these programs, reading those books can be a little bit dicey because they can trigger. And he goes into all the reasons why that could be potentially dangerous, but just something to take note of. So for me, the more I know about this, the more helpful I can be in dealing with people who have been subjected, victimized, and abducted into these programs. I think this applies directly to the Lightworker Healing Protocol I'm doing, and especially for the MAP abductees who have also been abused and manipulated by these programs, such as Monarch. So it's the healing. The more you know about the problem, the more your healing can be effective. So I'm kind of thinking about it along those lines, and maybe down the road, the protocol itself could be changed a little bit to accommodate that situation. So that's something I think Carl is interested in. We don't really have time to investigate it right now, but he's always researching new things for the protocol. And for instance, the manual that's being printed right now, and the PDF version of the manual that is going out now for the new students has been changed since our class in February. Not big changes, but they're significant enough that he actually went through and did a rewrite. So I'm still going to do some edits for the interview with Teresa Talea in hopes that we can make it public. And I've just been so busy with the Get Wisdom website and all that that I haven't done the edits yet. So my apologies to her and to everybody. But this is the book that she wrote. And she and I did a interview a couple weeks ago, and it's still in editing right now. So she and I are going back and forth on some edits, and so that's in progress. And I wanted to read the intro to that. I don't think she'll mind because we really haven't officially made this public yet. But this probably found a version of this probably found on her website. Teresa Talea bravely exposes the realms and identities of the gods and angels in the large third edition of Eternal Humans and Finite Gods. How an ex-prophet and I, her mother, left religion and discovered universes beyond and within. She grew up the daughter of a prophet, receiving numerous prophecies until she gradually realized the messages and their sources were not what they appeared to be. Her request for truth, no matter how difficult the path, uncovered a multitude of layers, and not only herself, but also the cosmos and beyond. She presents significant histories of the Earth and Milky Way galaxy, showing our position and options towards a proactive and hopeful future. The groundbreaking book was written for people who want profound love and truth. It critically and fairly analyzes prevalent religious, New Age, and scientific beliefs, bringing them to face their similarities and inherent contradictions, and push back their self-imposed limits to relatively new ideas. These ideas are based on pre-existing knowledge that our current paradigms have largely forgotten. Talea believes knowledge is power, and the insightful information she provides will connect the dots that her predecessors misrepresented or left unanswered. She does not use the word truth lightly. This book's bold assertions are based in reality. It is up to the reader to choose to accept reality while learning to gain lasting love and strength, or to lose oneself to the sleeper state of religious and spiritual programming that disempowers who we really are as fundamentally eternal beings. Talea's smaller book, the second edition of Proposing a New Cosmology Beyond Death Science, concisely analyzes the cosmological theories of both mainstream physics and New Age spirit science, and reveals their ideas of oneness as short-sighted and ultimately unrealistic. She introduces another paradigm of distinct eternal energies existing before and beyond the varying fragmented creations in our experiential reality. This book is tailored to the skeptical public and scientific community. And so her website is www.rediscoverypress.com. So it's all one word, lowercase, rediscoverypress.com. So you might want to go check that out. Okay, and also found out that her mother does past life readings, and I was able to read one. And it was very interesting, and I did not know that she did that. So that was kind of interesting. Interesting that I didn't know that mostly, but I'm not really sure how that works over her site. But I imagine you can inquire. She's pretty easy to get a hold of. She's pretty responsive for the most part. Okay. What else we got here? Okay, so I recently did an interview with Marina from Dark Star Astrology. She's over in the UK. And it was a lot of fun, and at the end, the Skype somehow segregated the audio and the video in such a bizarre way that even my video editing software didn't work when I was trying to resolve that conundrum of mismatched audio and video. It's the strangest damn thing I've ever seen. I've done well over 100 interviews. I've never seen Skype do this. Skype can do some pretty funky things to you when it comes to doing online interviews, but this one was new for me. So anyway, at the end it gets a little sparkled. So my apologies. So I did suggest a follow-up, and what I wrote to Marina was maybe we can get into archons, spirit attachment, and how that might relate to the widespread institutionalized pedophilia in the UK and the US and the exposure thereof. So a lot of this pedophilia activity is finally getting exposed, and then we can use an appropriate title if we decide to tackle that, because the title for our last video wasn't really that enticing. It was, it was nice. Marina at Dark Star Astrology, which anyone who's visited her site will admit that she's done a really good job there. It's very visually appealing too. So, but she did write an article about archons, and I in the notes that go with this live stream, you can grab that link and go over there and read it. And so anyway, I hope we do a follow up because it was a lot of fun, and she knows a lot about astrology, and she's very intuitive. Okay, so what else we got here? Oh, I also mentioned the channeling that Carl did of Jimmy Savile, and so I sent over the link to her. I don't think that's her cup of tea really, but she might, if she actually is able to find the time to watch the whole thing. I think she might find it pretty interesting. So we'll see how that goes. And that link now is not a link on Why Is This True, and it's not a YouTube link. It's a link that goes to Get Wisdom, because all of these videos now are being hosted by Get Wisdom. They're not available on YouTube anymore. You might still be able to see them if you have the link, but I think they've all been changed to unlisted, so they're not readily available on Why Is This True or Get Wisdom or what YouTube. So for the channeling series with Carl Mollison, go to getwisdom.com. That's where you can go now and watch those videos. I think you have to register first, but it's free. You just put your email in there, and then you can watch. The interviews on Get Wisdom are immediately available to supporter members. So these are for the new ones. So Carl and I on Tuesday are going to do, I think it's Isaac Asimov. So we'll record that. That's going to get uploaded to Get Wisdom. And then if you're a supporter member, you'll be able to see it right away. If you're a participant member, then that becomes available 30 days later. And then also if you're a supporter member, you can go and get transcripts, written transcripts, book-ready transcripts for the video series. We've got quite a few of these already done and uploaded to the site. So you can just go right in there, download I think it's a PDF file, and you can read the transcripts. And I really encourage that because if you're used to listening to them like I am, I fail to appreciate what it's like to read a transcript. It's amazing. It's a whole different experience. And very, very nice if you're already a reader. If you're not a reader, I don't know how that would work. But if you're not someone who normally reads, I'm not sure how that would work. But for people who read a lot, the transcripts are amazing. So anyway, there's two levels there. So there's a participant, which you just give your email, and then you'll get emails periodically from us. And then you can be a supporter, which is a monthly charge. And so the main thing is this: if you're a supporter, you're directly assisting the Get Wisdom mission statement, enabling us to fund the website, eventually give us a living wage, and promote all the things that we are currently doing better and to a wider audience. So as I've stated before, most of the income to the site now is going to get cycled into paying for advertising. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing here pretty soon is paying for advertising. So that'll be interesting. So for the two levels of participant and supporter, the difference is between being a spectator and a problem solver. But all are welcome, and all can make a contribution in their own way. It's not about the money. I think if it was, all three of us and all of the volunteers would be doing something else. So we have about 10 people as new Lightworker Healing Protocol online course trainees, and a surprising number of them are from overseas, which is, it's kind of encouraging actually. We're getting good feedback so far, but I've not heard back from a few because I think they're reading the manual, which can be pretty engaging, and it's needed if you actually want to do the session. So that's something that Carl is really adamant about. Reading the manual first and understanding its contents is critical. And Carl is very adamant about this, and we hear this often whenever we discuss the Lightworker Healing Protocol online course. So that's the first order of business. If you've ordered the course, read the manual. That's very important. And we're going to also be sending out new links for the updated MP3 audio files. So the audio files are available if you want to do the sessions, but they're not the updated version. So the updated versions are being recorded, I think, this week. And we're going to have new links that we're going to send out to all the new students, and they'll be available to the previous students for the updated version. It's not a dramatic difference, but it's a notable one that should be included if you're doing sessions according to the new manual. Okay, and you can actually record your own too, which is something I've done, and the script you'll find in the back of the manual. And so there's 4 recordings, one for clearing people, one for clearing locations, the spirit rescue for someone who's passed, and then the last one is clearing animals. So those are the 4 recordings. So the new Lightworker Healing Protocol online course members is Jane and Michael from Australia, Bill and Jacqueline from the UK, Juan from Luxembourg, Darcy and Kevin from Canada, Monica from Germany, Martha, Marcella, and Michael H. from the US. So welcome to you all, and thank you for getting the course. So right after this, the top of the hour, 1 p.m. on the West Coast, we're going to do what we're calling the For Real webinar, because we tried a couple test or trial webinars with this webinar platform we had, and we fell flat on our face. It was a pretty torturous thing, especially for Carl, because the problem turned out to be on his end, and of all things, it turned out to be the browser. So we were trying to do it with Firefox on his setup, and then we tried to do it with Safari. Did not work. Neither one of those worked. So we switched them over to Google Chrome. Bang, it worked. So Google's in our everywhere. Like, it's probably like some genetic thing now. Google, it's awful, but it works. For this, it works. Hopefully, we'll have the last laugh. Okay, so for the webinar today, this is what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about Carl's transition from a scientist to a divine channeler. And, he was a biotech scientist, and then he became a healer, a hypnotist, a healer. And then eventually we formed this partnership for the Get Wisdom Project. And so we'll be talking about that. We'll talk about the main mission of GetWisdom.com, along with the many challenges to humanity, and those challenges and how we want to address them using the Get Wisdom platform. And then we're going to try to get in as many viewer questions as we can before we wrap it up. I'm not sure how long we're planning on being on there. This is kind of like our debut, so it might go a little long. And then for me, this morning, also if you want to see the webinar, go to getwisdom.com, go to the members page, look at the article Nifty 50, and towards the bottom of the article you'll see the link right there. You just click on that link and you can get on the webinar with us. It's also on Facebook if you're on Facebook and you go to my Facebook page. Okay, but anyway, for me, a couple other things I want to talk to you that's not really on my notes. One of the sources that has ended up being pretty valuable in all of our investigations is a series of books channeled books by Barbara Marciniak, and there was a series of 3 of them that she wrote a long time ago. And I also want to say, I'm always saying, study mind control. If you want to learn about ETs and UFOs and ascension and stuff, so study mind control. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my own medicine. That's why I'm back into this. I don't think I said that, but that's why I'm back reading all these books. I'm always because I want to get better at it myself. I want to learn more about it. I want to have more of it, in my memory, so I can discuss it more fluently. But anyway, back to Barbara Marciniak. She does this series of books called Teachings from the Pleiadians, and so there was 3 books, and they've been around a long time, over 20 years now. Bringers of the Dawn is the first one. The next one is called Earth, and then the other one is called Family of Light. And if you get tired of all the dark stuff that Carl and Denny do, go read these. These are really good. I mean, they don't pull too many punches, but they're they just have a kind of a brighter flavor to it than a lot of this dark stuff that Denny and Carl do. So anyway, I've been reading these off and on for quite a while now, and this is another thing that I have nearby and often read these. So I really recommend these highly. So anyway, this morning I did my 50th Lightworker Healing Protocol session. So tomorrow I'm going to make my decision. I've set aside tomorrow for me to decide one way or the other whether I'm going to try to do this as an active part of what I'm doing on a full-time basis. With my work with Get Wisdom and WhyIsThisTrue.com, I've had some very encouraging feedback around this whole practice sessions that I've done. I've done 50 of them. I started February 23rd, And as of this morning, I finished my 50th session. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to share with you anonymously two testimonials that were given to me. One was for a person who had sessions done for him where it wasn't just me. There was other people also doing Lightworker healing protocol sessions for him. Plus, I think he may have engaged some other psychics or healers to work on his behalf. So we have to be cognizant of the fact and give credit where credit is due. And sometimes we don't know where credit is due. Is that this testimonial, even though it's kind of addressed towards me and Carl, there's what they call cofactors. So you can't always assign a cause to an effect, right? Like, the tree fell over, but it could have been the loose roots or the wind or both. You can't say, oh, the wind blew the tree over. Well, the wind may have contributed to it, but there could be other things. So they call that cofactors. So I just want to put that out there. And the other important thing to remember is, and a lot of healers will tell you this, is that they themselves are not doing the healing. They are creating the connection for the divine realm to do the work for the client or for the person that they're attempting to heal. So the actual healing is not something that they're intimately involved in. They're just like the conduit, the connector. And so that's very much true with the Lightworker healing protocol. So that's a distinction that should always be kept in mind, I think. Okay, so I'm going to keep these anonymous, even though they weren't given to me that way, but just for, just out of respect. I mean, I may decide not to do this tomorrow. So, so I'm gonna leave the names out. So this person he says, I am a mercenary army program survivor. If I hadn't come across Denny's work when I did, I don't know how dark my future might have been, or if I would even be here. You see, I've unwittingly been a victim of ET abduction since I was very young. And as an adult, I believe I've been used in the MAP probably more than once. However, Denny's work with Carl Mollison has given me a path to salvation by reconnecting me with the divine and my true purpose in life, which is to help humanity heal. I was in a very bad place by the fall of 2017. Early in the year, I began to experience a ton of problems with my body. Everything from strange tooth pain to very bad gut problems. This breaking down of my body had seemingly come out of nowhere. I just remember a shift in my life around summer of 2016. I literally just woke up a different person. I found myself exhibiting post-traumatic stress syndrome symptoms, but had no idea why. Irritability and rage were all of a sudden commonplace for me, and I felt heavily stressed for no real reason. Not to mention, I had a confidence in myself I never really had before, a willingness to have physical confrontations when provoked, which was not like me at all. By the time I came across Denny's work in 2017, I had quit my job and was working only sparingly, as I was always just too stressed and too physically ill to be working very much. When I discovered Denny's channeling sessions with Carl, I became fascinated with what was being channeled. I call it strong intuition if you want, but I instantly knew this information was legit. I was now on a mission to discover the truth about what was going on in this world and what was happening to me. Little did I know just how related those two things were. You see, I was under some false impressions that this secret space program that some were talking about was somehow a good thing because the white hats were up in space fighting for our freedom. And was the good ETs were going to help us against the bad ETs. This is a false narrative designed to be an altar of sorts to keep people trapped in false hope and complacency. It was a story that was meant to keep the more aware truth-seeking community from using or discovering their spiritual power, which is exactly what the ETs fear most. For we are co-creators of reality, which is a unique power that they themselves lack. However, Denny's work with Carl began to reveal to me the truth of the deception and how serious the situation is for humanity at this time. Over time, it was plain to see just how this situation could have come about for us and how we can use our connection to the divine to overcome the seemingly insurmountable problem. There is a ton of disinformation out there, and Denny's work is shining a light on those twisted truths and lies being used to corral and control those who are too curious. As hard as these truths were to accept, part of me knew it was real. Now the dynamic duo of Denny and Carl have come up with a program designed to empower and heal any who wish to learn. Carl has come up with an advanced prayer technique that is designed to allow the divine realm to step in and work with us much more closely. This is literally what miracles are made of. By learning how to better partner with the divine, we can free ourselves and God-willing humanity from this ET slavery we have had to endure for hundreds of thousands of years now. Denny's work with Carl and others might just be some of the most important work ever done for humanity. Personally, and very recently, just within the last month or so, Denny and Carl may have saved me from committing suicide. Even though I was learning much from the work, I was still allowing some old habits to weaken my aura, which was allowing some extreme psychic attacks to happen to me. By reaching out to Denny and Carl, I have since been able to rectify this problem. Denny has done numerous healings on me completely free of charge, as I believe his will is for all of us to heal and become divinely empowered. I was having such a hard time last month that if Denny and Carl had not stepped in, I don't know what I would have done to get relief from the overwhelming fear and paranoia. Now I'm finally beginning to get a place of empowerment and security thanks to Denny and Carl's hard work. I plan on learning the prayer protocol for myself and then teaching as many people as I can. If we can stand up to our divine power, we can co-create with the divine to free humanity and create peace on earth. I feel as though I owe Denny and Carl everything, as I have no idea how dark my life may have become if Denny had not decided to be doing what he's doing now. I'm eternally grateful, would recommend everyone to check out all of Denny's work and to learn the prayer protocol, as it could be instrumental in creating a positive future for oneself and all of humanity in these desperately trying times. So gosh, thank you so much. You know who you are, and so beautifully written. So thank you so much for that. And okay, then there's another one that I got, and this situation is a little different. This is a person, I'm about 100% sure I'm the only one who did a session for her. I did 2 sessions, and the most recent one, this testimonial is related to the more recent one, and then I'm going to get off the air. How are we doing on time here? Oh, 27 minutes. Yeah, so I got to hurry up. Okay, so testimonial for Denny Hunt. Dear Denny, I want to thank you for the life-changing work you have done in my behalf. I was inspired to contact you via Facebook a couple of months ago after watching one of your Wisest Truth shows. Something that the person you were interviewing resonated very strongly with me. You were very kind and made me feel at home regarding the topics I cannot discuss with anyone else I know. After several discussions, you added me to your list of Lightworker Healing Protocols healing sessions. Unless I ask you, I never know what day or time you do your sessions. I don't even know if you have a regular schedule for them. All I know for certain is that I am super grateful and amazed at your kindness for doing them. This morning, during a super vivid and clear dream, I had a massive download of instruction and handheld tutelage on forgiveness, recognizing and appreciating love, and how to shift from victimization mode to self-empowerment, which includes a very important shift of frequency. And most importantly, how to release a particular trauma that had been plaguing my heart and soul for 26 years. In fact, the trauma and sadness I'd been carrying around was so bad, I even attempted suicide several times because I could not take the pain anymore. When I woke up, I felt like I'd been gone for months, even though I'd been only sleeping through the night, which is super rare for me. I usually only sleep until 3 or 4 a.m. I woke up around 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, unheard of. The being that was with me in the dream, walking me through how it's done, how to forgive and move forward, was very patient. I took a long time and many attempts until I was able to correctly focus my frame of mind and intention to where it needed to be. In order for me to be free of the pain and sorrow I'd been holding on to for so very long. I wasn't aware of how much pain I'd been carrying until it lifted. When that finally happened, at that very moment, the being that had been assisting me looked directly at me and smiled. I hadn't actually looked at him until that moment. All communication had been telepathic. While he had been a few feet behind me to my right, I'll always remember that smile. I did not recognize the face, but I recognized the smile right away. It was your smile. While I was dreaming, I kept telling myself I was dreaming, and also to remember as much as possible, every instruction, every word, every visual, every exercise. When I woke up, dizzy, and sleepy from all the mental activity, the first thing I did was to immediately contact you to see if you could help me understand what had just happened. I quickly wrote down what I could remember and I sent it to you. It turns out that you'd been doing a healing session for me at 6:30 the same morning. Denny Hunt, you are the real deal. I'm testifying that I've experienced your healing. I'm forever grateful to you, grateful and thankful. The shift in perspective I experienced was the beginning of much healing I've been in need of for a very long time. And thank you from my heart to yours. Name withheld in this case for now. So thank you so much for both of those beautiful testimonials. And I did get another one, a shorter one from Ireland for a family that we've been working on. So this is for me. This is a great start with these 50 sessions. There could have been other things that happened. Well, I did get another one that was verbal. That was pretty impressive, but I'm not going to recount that one here. So anyway, I'm so happy to have learned the Lightworker Healing Protocol. It's changing lives. It's changing my life. And tomorrow I get to decide whether to hang my shingle or not. So I want to thank everybody for all their support. Especially all the donations that have come in on the GoFundMe campaign. I really appreciate that. It's helping so much. I can't tell you how much it's helping. But in the last week, we've had donations from Deborah, Michael H., Alan, Susie, Michael H. again, David and Melanie, and Gordon. And your generosity and support and thoughtfulness is so much appreciated. I really do appreciate the support. It's helping us to keep going. And if you can assist me in WIT and my work with Get Wisdom by making a donation to the GoFundMe campaign, the money will be put to good use. And I want to thank everybody so much. Have a great Sunday. And I hope to see you on the webinar coming up in about 29 minutes. Okay, see you there. Have a great day. I love you guys. Bye-bye.